Hi, friends, and welcome to Shine with Marilena Cortes and Mark Sedgwick. Here we are on another amazing episode to share with you some light and some positivity. I have the honor today to have with us on the show, of course, the co-host Mark Sedgwick and my beautiful cousin, Ester Cortes. Hola.
Hello.
Hola a todos.
Sorry, Contreras Cortes.
Contreras Cortés, pero a final de cuentas, lo Contreras no quita lo Cortés.
Ándale, muy bien. Well, welcome, and you know what? We are connected through my mother's side of the family. We're cousins, and her mother, Maria Ester Cortes, is the one who raised me when I went to Mexico when I was a little girl. So I always say that Tete is the one, we call her Tete, and she, my cousin, is Tete Chiquita, Teteita. And Maria Ester, my aunt, inspired me to be a teacher. I used to always go to her trainings and her sessions, and I didn't even know she was a teacher. I just knew she always presented with so much light. People loved her, and people learned a lot from her. And I think I'm one of those former students who got inspired through her actions and her way of life.
Absolutely.
Mark, do you have a quote of the day today to share with us?
Wow. So I don't necessarily have a quote exactly. I didn't have the time to extract one because I'm so busy with homework. Are you guys able to hear me well?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay, awesome. So yeah, the message of today is to honor the teaching, the National or World Teaching Day. Is that correct?
World Teaching Day, yes.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say, yes, today is National or World Teaching Day, however you want to say it. But yeah, so the message of today is to honor the teachers and to share the importance of a good quality teacher. And we have two teachers here, soon to be three, which is me. We got my mom, Marilena Cortes, and we got Tete, little Tete, another teacher. And like I said, I'm soon to be a teacher as well. I'm getting my teacher certification in the process right now. So, which hence the homework I was just referring to. But so yeah, what makes you guys stay together so long? We're family. So I wanted a little bit of background. What was it like for you guys growing up, and how are y'all related?
Tete, you want to say how you met me?
Okay. Well, how do I remember Maria Elena Cortés? At my birthday parties. Yes, she was always the crazy cousin she's so good. She's so creative. She was always doing a lot of decoration for my birthday parties. She was cutting, pasting, hanging, and she really, really dressed up my garden. So I could have those amazing things.
Siempre era payaso, remember?
Yeah, she was always wearing a costume for my birthdays. And what else do I remember about you? It is always, you have been always surrounded by those things, those creative things and artistics and everything like that. And when she went back to the States, I do remember she started the university, and suddenly she said, okay, I'm done. I'm a teacher. I was like, a teacher? What? What about your things, your drawings, paints all over the house? What happened? And she said, I want to become a writer.
Yeah.
And now,
isn't that funny?
Here we are. Here we are talking.
I originally wanted to be an architect that day. I wanted to be I wanted to design buildings and create buildings. That's what I thought I wanted to do. But my mother told me that was a career for men. And then I told her, no, that's not true. But when I really started to get scholarships, I tried to get scholarships to be an architect. It was really, really challenging. It was not that easy. And when I finally had a taste of architecture, it was going to cost a lot of money. So because I didn't get the scholarship, I couldn't afford to go to college to become an architect. So here I am now helping build minds and creating a podcast where I can share actually and design, help design and inspire kids to be more creative. So that's kind of like the idea. And I met Tete when she was very little. When her mom got married, I cried and cried, and I didn't want her to have any more kids. So when I saw Tete and Juan Carlos, her brother, I was really jealous. I could have been the annoying cousin. But no, once I met them, you know, I love them so much. I felt like they were like my half brother, my half sister, really, because their mom was like a role model, and I loved her so much.
Yeah,
so,
and,
but
hey,
yeah.
Mom, I remember you as a kid, whenever I was a kid, and you would tell me stories, because I would always ask you, because, you know, Tete, your mom was a big mentor in my mom's life, right? Always,
Yes.
my mom tells me stories about her always being by her side and all this kind of stuff. And I was the same way with my mother's mother, which is Teresa.
Teresa.
And, yeah, that's the way I was growing up. My whole childhood, I was just by my grandma Teresa's side, and always just learning from her and picking up all the little things and listening to the biblical stories that she would tell me when I was going to bed next to her, and I would say, "Abuelita, ¿me puedes enseñar una historia de la Biblia?" And she would just pour it all the good stories, all the enthusiastic stories, and troubling stories, and challenging stories of the Bible, and how to overcome, and the success principles. I was just picking them all up as I was going. And then, of course, another huge mentor of mine, which was my mom, which was inspired by your mom, which is kind of funny, to create and to write and to express yourself and to believe in yourself. And so I kind of grabbed all that stuff, and then, so my mom published a book, and now I'm publishing a book. And so it's all kind of coming full circle. But that is what happens whenever you are a teacher. That is the power of a mentor, power of a teacher. You can inspire your kids. And that's what makes me want to be a teacher. Maybe not necessarily the normal path like you and my mom have taken, but maybe in other ways too, like we've talked about, through the books, through the presenting, through all the creative projects to inspire others.
Yeah, so. But you know what? Talking about that, Mark, Tete, Maria Ester Cortes, my aunt who raised me, she was not your typical teacher. She didn't just teach.
No.
She did trainings. She wrote stories. She wrote books. She was immersed in the learning and shared it with everybody that taught, that was in her path. So really, none of us are really just teachers. Tete is doing other things. So share with us some of the things that you're doing outside of education.
Okay, well, to let you know, I first studied for being a chef. So I studied culinary arts. Then I received an invitation, yes. The mother of one of my best friends, she was the owner of a school. And one evening, I just received a call, and she said, "Please come and help." I said, "Come on, me surrounded by kids? Okay, I'll go." So then I said, okay, it's not bad, because I was used to go with my mom, but she worked with adults. She was a teacher for teachers. Mm-hmm. She wasn't teaching young people. Come on, children? No, she was a teacher for teachers. So when they asked me to have the experience and help to teach children, I was like, ¿y eso cómo se come? So I said, okay, I'll try it. And then I said, I like it. I keep on working at the kitchen, but then my little daughter, ta-da, appeared. So I said, okay, I have to make a big change here, because I can't keep on with that kind of life, with that rhythm at the work. So I said, okay, I'll do another thing. I went back to the university and studied for becoming a teacher. Then I said, okay, English? Yes, why not? My mom, at first, she was an English teacher, then a math teacher, and then she started writing books about beautiful archaeological sites around Morelos. And she was one of the authors of a book that they use here in CEP. That's the big institute that rules all the things. Sorry?
Yeah, for the public schools in Mexico.
Yes, for the public schools. So it was great. And then I started teaching. So I became an English teacher. And now I have just finished my degree. I have a master's degree, but for teaching Spanish. So it's a lot of things. It's all blended, and this mixture makes the things really, really good. I keep on working as I've been doing chef's things. But yes,
I love it because you're not in a box. You know, a lot of teachers, they want to put us inside a box, and they want to say, okay, are you a math teacher? Oh, then you're just gonna be a math teacher. Oh, you're gonna be a writing teacher, then you're just doing writing, right? But we, as Cortes, I always say we're chingonométricos. We are so versatile. We are full of so many gifts that we want to share with the world, but also because we know that we are capable of doing more than one or two or three things. You know, when you mentioned you thought I was going to be an artist because I was always painting, a lot of other cousins tell me, oh, yo pensé que, I thought you were going to be an actress because you love acting and used to tear grandma's sheets and turn them into theater in the middle of the ranch, you know? And I was like, yeah. And then I have other cousins who thought that maybe I was going to be a dancer because I love Mexican folkloric dance. And I was in a lot of dances, you know, and I got to even win some awards. So why not? Why can't we do it all? You know, we can do it all. And I think when we discover those gifts and we share them with our students and share them with everybody that's in our world, that makes us happier, you know?
Yes.
It makes us more, we are able to share more light. And that's what I love. I always wanted to call the show Shine because I told my son, I feel like we are a light in the world. Everybody is capable of being a light in the world, but you don't have to specialize in just one thing. You can be talented, multitasking, you know?
Yes.
Multitasking, that's a good word, because when you're at the front of a class, you can't just skip on what you prepare during the week. Here, written on your notes, on your notebook, and just follow step 1, then 2, 3, until you get all the numbers through 10. You can't do it like that because we are working with people. Yeah. We are full of life and some things happen and you have to pay attention to those things. Imagine if I was giving a class about cutting and pasting, but suddenly a little human decides, a tiny human has the brilliant idea to cut a girl's hair. I have to finish, I have to end up with a half here. No, you have to stop and change. Zoop!
Improvise.
Yes. And that's life. You have to put salt and pepper and you mix it to have just the flavors. So
yeah, you know what? I want to add on to that. So I recently went to church for the first time in a while, you know, because the whole COVID has kept us out of church, most of us, you know, because, you know, you can't be in public places with a lot of people. So they just recently opened it up, like a few people, and we're all separated and this and that. But so I went and they were talking about that exact metaphor, which is, you know, in order to bake a cake, you need to put some sugar, some flour, some icing, all kinds of ingredients that make up that cake. And it's the same.
And let me tell you a secret, Mark. Let me tell you a secret. Also, a pinch of salt.
Yes, a little bit of a lot of things, right? And you know, maybe the salt can represent failure, right? For example, you know, you need a little bit of failure, all kinds of different things to make this. You know, with every loss, there's a lesson. That could be the quote of the day, right? So with every loss, there's a lesson. You better learn from that salt. You better learn from that loss. It all comes together to form a cake, right? So if we're a little bit of art here, and if we're a little bit of presenting here, and I'm starting to create music. So I like to create music. I put some of that in there, and you know, doing all these things that I'm passionate about fulfills me, and I'm sharing my light in different ways, right? So that's what a good teacher is able to evoke in their students, to bring the best in so many diverse areas, to help them to bring that out in them, right? That's what the successful teacher does.
Yes, and now let me tell you something. Please. Right now, it's a good moment to show up what we have inside of each one of us, because everyone has a big package and we have lots of things to share. Right now, I have a lot of friends, teacher friends, that are afraid because of the quarantine, and they can't go out, and they are afraid because they might lost their jobs because they can't handle with technology, and they don't know what's gamification, and they don't know how to make things not the same way. Every day you wake up, you open your eyes, and you start the day.
Yeah,
and you keep on going, and then again, go back to your bed, go to sleep, and that's it.
I think
right now, it's a good moment for that. Right now, it's a good moment for that.
Would you say what you're saying is do not give up, right? Every day, a lot of people are giving up because of the whole trial that we're all facing with financial burden and solitude, because we're all locked in the virtual world to communicate in a lot of ways. You know, thankfully, we're now able to go to restaurants with a mask on here and there, and go to church here and there with our masks on, and these kinds of things. Luckily, we're now able to get out a little bit more. So it's a little bit more sanity going on, right? A little bit of more healthy communications going on. But at the same time, I know something we wanted to talk about in the show is how powerful this technological era is that still allows us to communicate. Imagine 50 years ago, we would not have been able to communicate through these means of communication because there was no such thing as a computer and Zoom and all these kinds of things, right? So we are
right now, we are talking, and we are in 3 different countries.
No, well, 2 countries.
2 countries.
U.S. and Mexico, because you're in Mexico, but we're also, Mark and I, in totally different states. I'm in Colorado, and Mark is in Houston, Texas. So, yeah, technology's, it's beautiful, but at the same time, it can be challenging for many of us who are not keeping up to date with the changes. You know who helped me stay updated with technology? My kids. Mark and Alexis. If I didn't know how to do something, they would grab the phone and do it for me. But then I always remember, Mama, aprende, learn. And I learn through them. And of course, there's still many things I still have to learn, because it's not just me. We all have to be updating our technology and our resource, the way we're learning as well is changing. And now with the pandemic, it's even harder. But let's listen to the young kids, the millennials, who are teaching us all these different ways and who are creating a faster way to communicate and stay in touch like we are right now.
Go ahead.
But do you really think it depends on the age of people? Because you're talking about young people, and I think not only the old ones are the ones who are having troubles with technology. Also, there are some young people that they don't know how to do it.
Yeah, no, I agree. But mostly there's a lot more young people that are they have to, because they are born with the phone. They are born with this technology. But really, age doesn't matter. I think at the end of the day, you know, I just met an old lady at a coffee shop the other day here. She was with her phone. She was doing a Zoom call with her grandkids, and she was so cute. She was teaching the grand little baby what buttons to push. So, you know, if you really want to, for a grandma, even if I'm 100 years old, I want to stay in touch with my grandkids or with my kids. So I will learn whatever I have to learn to stay connected with the people I love. So it's all about, do you want to stay connected? Do you want to stay updated with all this technology? But let's go back to teaching, because we're celebrating teachers, and it's so cool. If they could see me here with you, and Tateya and Mark, and little, I don't remember. I mean, our grandparents were not teachers, but you know, in a way, they were. Back then, the parents were the teachers. They were the first teachers of their children. Even more than now, because now with all the people have to go to work and all this stuff, they're not investing a lot of time with their kids. It's either a nanny or a teacher who's really teaching kids now.
Can I add on something to this? I think this is really important point, is that, you know, I think I'm a teacher right now. I think I have knowledge. I have a little bit of positivity. I have a little bit of wisdom to share with people. So why not share it? Right now, I'm on a podcast sharing some impactful words, right? We're having this conversation that may shift somebody's perspective. I think that's the biggest thing that that people can do right now. Everybody can be a teacher, whether you're a parent, whether you do it full time, just like you guys have done in your lives, whether you're teaching your friends how to play a board game, whether you're teaching your friends how to exercise, whether you're teaching your friends how to communicate with each other better, right? So me and my roommates who have had to move in together since my mom moved away, now I have roommates and we had to learn how to communicate better, right? So everybody can learn something. Everybody can learn from each other. I think everybody should be a teacher. You know, I think the bigger picture is that, sharing your light is teaching. You're teaching by sharing your light. You're sharing value with somebody. You're sharing some knowledge. You're sharing a smile with them, right? That's sharing your light too.
Yes.
Let's shine.
You know, I want to share a quote by Helen Keller. She was one of the most, I admire her so much as a teacher. She was born deaf and blind. Are you guys familiar in Mexico with Helen Keller's story, Tete?
Yes, we are.
Okay, so she had a quote that really caught my eye when I was looking through she has many, many quotes, and she's known for many wise words. But this one, I like this one. Although the world is full of suffering, we are also full of overcoming it. So every challenge, and she's a perfect example. She had a challenge for her visual and for her speech, but she overcame those barriers, and she became one of the best leading teachers for the special needs students.
Motivators.
So I think I'm sorry?
She was a motivator for the most part, is what I really like. That was a huge thing that she did.
But it wasn't easy. When you see the movie, Mark, you see it wasn't easy. She went through a lot of hoops to become who she became, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so again, Helen Keller was a great example of a woman who had to improvise and come up with solutions during the most challenging times of her life. Right now, we are facing, as teachers and educators, we are facing one of the toughest, strangest time of our lives, which is teaching during COVID-19 or the pandemic. We are forced to learn or create or come up with new forms of teaching, right? So we call this the new norm. And Tete wanted to share with us some tips of what's helping her in Mexico. You know, there's no excuses. So there's no excuses here in the United States. There's no excuses in Mexico. Tete, what are some of your maybe challenges and how you overcoming these new challenges as you're teaching your students?
Well, yes, the topic is the new normal. That's how we call it here. And I think all over the world, it's a new normal. And well, that refers to online teaching and also to online learning. And these techniques and strategies of teaching, they're not so new. If you start looking up for those names, you will find that they have been existing for some years back. But today is what we are listening about. So it's the e-learning, and it's the m-learning, and it's the b-learning, and well, lots of learnings. But they all what do they have? Lots of learnings. And what do they have in common is that you have to take good use in the good way, as we said at the beginning, about technology. That's it. And this is scary for some people, and others, they might not have all the apps to use, but there's where teachers are needed. There's where this humankind has to show up. And how do we do it? Well, these things that we can't touch, that is these electronic devices, we can touch them. But what about the software? It's what we have inside here. It's the same thing. We are a machine, a great machine. And teachers, we can handle this out. And how to figure this? Well, what about creating and sharing? For doing what? Well, for engaging this content, the contents, and they will get a chain. And this chain has to be followed followed by the little ones. And they should be guided. Guided by whom? By their parents and teachers. And how do you do it? Well, we have videos. There are a lot of videos. Or you can create those videos. And with those videos, you can feedback students. Or you can answer questions. There are also, like right now, we're talking together using this device, and we can be sharing. We are talking here about experiences. Mm-hmm. That's what teachers really teach. We don't just teach what the book says. We teach with our experiences. Oh, yeah. We could say, water boils up to 100 degrees. Good. But what does a good teacher do?
They teach them why, right? Why do you boil water to 100 degrees? You boil the water to cook, right? To cleanse water so you can drink it. You got to teach the why. I just want to chime in really quick. I think the biggest thing for a teacher to do is to teach the purpose. That's the motivator. That's the driving force of the teacher. That's an unused tool that many teachers, I remember in my public school system, and even in college and the university, when you're supposed to be a master, doctorate teacher, they don't teach you why sometimes. And I'm like, I just want to ask them, why am I learning this? You know, I want to know why. I want to be motivated. I want to have the fire under me because I know why. I have a purpose to learn. Right?
Yes. And that you know what, you brought a really good point, and so did you, Mark. That why and that knowledge that we have here, that's what we need to be able to show the kids. Even with this window that we have right now, we're not there. We can't show them live. But guess what? We can actually show them live, but from our own home. And so right now, one of the new jobs that I'm doing is I'm being an assessment teacher. So I'm assessing teachers online. It's another part-time job that I'm doing with the state of Colorado. And guess what? The best teachers are modeling the why of every lesson. They're actually more hands-on. So if the teacher used to do it something and give the student something to do, now they kind of have to do it here first themselves. And then inspire the kids to do it at home. Simple things, simple things, but they have to show the how and the why. I always think of the 5 W's: who, what, when, where, and why. If we can connect those W's, the 5 W's in our lessons, those are some of the best lessons.
And why though? I want to ask Mom, why does it make it a better lesson plan? I'm going to kind of answer, but I want you to answer as well. It gives the kids some context, right? It gives them an insight and a perspective.
What was your question?
Of why teach the five W's, right? It's in order to give them context and to teach them a little bit of background, a little bit of a hook as to why they are learning and what they're learning about.
Yes, and connecting them to and hooking them, ¿verdad? Hooking them into the learning. That is the most powerful thing we can do with our kids. Because when the kids understand, when they understand is one thing, but when they go, wow, I am hooked, I want to continue this learning, that's the most beautiful moment in our lives, right, Tate?
Yes, and that's the thing I always tell my peers. You have daily, you have to be in touch with your students. Different ways, but even with a smile, instead of beginning the routine with a math face, just give them a big smile, and that changes everything. You should keep the relationship with your students. That's the most important thing. That's the strong thing. That's the glue. That's what makes them stay with you. And this is the way you will engage them with these daily messages. And that's the way they will start the relationship with your teacher. That will let them go in a smoother way through the path of learning. And they don't feel that frustrating thing and that worries and that stress, because they're suffering with the stress. But if you show them you're still with them, no matter the distance, that will give them this confidence. And with this continued persistence, you will encourage the students. And with that, they will continue, they will keep on going every day, and they will get in your class, and they will follow you, and they will try. They will try to do the work you send them home.
Yes, I want to add something super cool. So a mentor of mine, actually an old boss of mine, his name was Jake at Try Fitness. Shout out to them. You know,
yes.
So he taught me a lot. Yes, really good people. So he told me something. We would have conversations all the time. He was one of my greatest teachers. He would always, whenever he would show up and he was teaching me things, or even if he wasn't, he was coaching a session, you know, and I was off doing something else, he'd always be like, right, Mark? Hey, and check this out, Mark. You know, he'd always be showing me something. If there was a teaching moment, he would teach me. He would take that opportunity to do something. And that thing is he would always tell me this, put a marble in the jar of the kid, right? Another marble in the jar. It's another motivation. It's checking in with them. It's sending your student an email. Hey, how are you doing? I saw you didn't do your assignment. You know, I just got, I was aware that you didn't finish your assignment. Is there anything I can do to help you to finish it? You know, just checking in, smiling whenever, saying hello whenever you come into the classroom, or if you join the Zoom meeting. Hello, Mark, how are you doing? Hello, Marie. Hey, how are you doing today? Welcome to class. All right, here we go. Right, so you're putting a marble in their jar, another motivation, another little, hey, you're doing good, you know, something.
Because that's the way you keep being the teacher. You keep being the one who listens, the one who guides, and also the one who supports. You are a big support for children, because some of them, they are learning alone at home. Their parents they need to go out, and maybe grandma or someone, another kind of relative, they stay at home with them, and they are learning alone. So just give them that support and let them know they are not alone. They think they are, but they are not.
But they're not. Yeah, and also letting kids know that this is a temporary time. A lot of people say this might be the new normal for many years, but I feel like even if it is, if it's gonna be like that, I don't think we need to say that, because I look at every lesson, every month that I taught my kids, I was like, hey, let's not worry about the next month. Let's worry about this month. And what are our goals for this month? So allowing the kids to still do some personal goals for the week or for the month, no matter how old they are. The little ones, they can think, okay, what do you think you can do this week or tomorrow, you know, to practice what we just learned. You know, so making, allowing kids to make personal goals, personal, what's the word, Mark? Another word for goals.
Achievements?
Aspirations.
Yeah, aspirations. You know, I think that kind of keeps them motivated. Right now, because of COVID and virtual learning, kids have to be on the camera. They have to be seen at all the times as you're teaching. So that also puts the teacher, I mean, you have to be extra with extra eyes, you know, and keeping an eye on them. And then what's really making it hard is, especially with the young ones, there's supposed to be a lot of oral language. Well, sometimes you can't hear because they're on mute. We ask them to be on mute, right? So sometimes even if you're asking them questions, you're not sure how they're pronouncing it, how they're saying it. And when they're little, then there's a big disconnect right now with that. So the only ones who can help us are the parents or the mentor or the nanny who's there with them. They're the ones that have to be extra careful and keep their ear open. And then if they hear the little one say something wrong, they're the ones that need to make those corrections. Because right now as teachers, we cannot do that because of that mute button. So I encourage a lot of the parents, if you're listening, to make sure that you are there connected. If you're not there because you have to work, and I know a lot of parents have to work, then get an older brother or somebody else to kind of, you know, watch those little lessons.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but once in a while tune in and help.
Yeah, Ma, I want to add something. So yes, absolutely. It takes a whole team, right? The mom's got to be there, or not the mom, not necessarily the mom, the grandma. Just whoever's there, whoever's present can help to guide as well, right? But even as the teacher, I know that they would probably agree with me on this one. If you're doing a Zoom call session with your students, ask them questions, check in, as we were saying, put a marble in their jar, do something to connect with them to make sure that they're there still, to check for understanding, right? That's a classic teaching principle. Check for understanding, right? It'll keep the kids engaged. It'll make sure they're paying attention. It'll make sure they're not surfing the web. It'll make sure they're not just logged in and playing outside with their buddies, which is great. I hope you kids are playing outside, but you know.
But not during instruction.
You have to check. You have to check and evaluate and make those kind of quizzes when you are online. And well, you said something about the family. And yes, we teachers, we have to be really aware that this new structure that we are using on online teaching, we should create this sense of routine, but just keep in mind that we can do it as strict as we were at school. We have to do it really flexible because we have to always remember different families will have different home schedules. And the only ones who suffer are the kids, the little ones, because they have to wait until someone else can come and let them use the phone, for example. So teachers, we have been doing a great effort for keeping in our minds at the time we are making these time schedules, these routines. We have to be really flexible and to understand each one of our students' situation. And this timetable, really, please teachers, don't try to do it and the way to replicate a regular school day, because it won't work. For sure, it won't.
Yeah, oh, that's a beautiful point, because a lot of teachers are complaining that they can't. Well,
you said it, Mary. You said we have to but you said it.
Do a regular day.
My mom is kind of disconnecting here.
And it's time to freeze.
Go ahead, continue. My mom.
Oh, sorry. I muted it when I got too excited and touched the. And that happens a lot during the online learning. Teachers make mistakes. You might hit a mute button. You might hit, or you raise the screen, or your cat is falling around your computer, or your kid is crying, because that also brings me to another point. A lot of teachers with little kids, they're struggling big time. I have friends that have little girls, little boys at home, and guess what? While they're teaching, their other kids are over there also learning, so they have to get another laptop or computer so their kids could be learning over there. But guess what? They need help, and the mom is a teacher, and she can't go help them right there because she's connected with her students. So a lot of our teacher friends, I want to send them a big hug, lots of kisses. You are doing double work at home. You're teaching your kids, you're teaching your students. And that is a lot of work. I'm lucky my kids are in Texas. They're not babies anymore. They're doing their own thing, because I cannot imagine having to do trainings if I had my little kids here running around, or in the middle of a session asking me, mommy, can you come help me? I don't understand what the teacher is asking me to do. Or what am I supposed to do with this homework? Even if they're not connected. So that's hard.
Hey, Mom. Yeah, absolutely. And if you play your cards right, you might even raise your kids to be your teammates and your Shine Podcast co-hosts. If you play your cards right as a teacher, as a parent,
that's right.
Mentor, right.
I was lucky, but I also included you in a lot of those challenges. And that takes me to the next, what I want to say, which is connected to the quote I just mentioned about Helen Keller. There's a lot of challenges in life, but there's also a lot of people tackling and completing those challenges and overcoming them. So let's look at that during this hard time, during this challenging period of our lives of 2020 during the pandemic. Yes, we can do it. It's not easy. No es fácil. It's probably one of the hardest and toughest times of our life to be able to juggle being a mom, being a teacher, having another job. Like right now, even though I don't have little ones, I'm still in need of 2 or 3 jobs until my kids are in college, so I can continue to help. And there's problems. There's always a problem, and we just got to learn to solve it. So I love what they said, learning to be flexible, learning how to juggle those challenges and not get stressed and panic. I think those are probably some of the key tips principles I would like to leave with today.
Success principles. Yeah, I want to.
Yes, and
go ahead.
And as you said before, you have to make these targets easy ones, that so you can accomplish them, and you have the energy to keep on going. Because if you as a teacher, you just say, okay, I have to finish up this book, and what did the student really learn? What is really the aim of doing that? Just feeling impatience? You have to be aware of that also. You have to give everything has its time.
That's honestly, that's kind of outdated at this point. Just hey, students, read a textbook and write the answers. I think that's a little bit outdated at this point. And you know what? I'm gonna shoot some shots at you teachers out there. Come on, guys, we got to start getting some discussions, some group projects, some videos, some creative projects. Like, come on, have your kids do some acting, have your kids do some drawing. What I mean? Let's have them work together and have discussions and learn how to communicate, learn how to be team players. I think the biggest thing about this podcast that I hope everybody has the lens, the perspective that I'm thinking of is, don't take this just for a formal teacher. Take this as a teacher in all facets of life, like we've been mentioning, as a parent, as a friend who can teach their other friend how to do something. Keep your perspective open, and expand the minds of the people around you. This has been really awesome. We're gonna go ahead and end the podcast here. We'll have a few more words here, but it's been really awesome to connect with you today, and Mom, once again, it's been really awesome. So
thank you for joining us today from Mexico.
Morelos,
right?
Yes, but I just want to end up with something that really matches here.
Please.
Okay.
Let me read for you. My teacher turned out to be patient and kind. She helped us calm down. Together, we created rules that help us get along. Did you recognize this little paragraph, Marie?
Did you copy that from something I wrote? The book. Oh, yes. The book.
The last one, and this is just for ending up.
Oh.
My teacher was awesome. She created lots of cool activities and unforgettable moments. I loved coming to school every day.
Oh,
yes.
I love it.
There you go. Yeah. Hey, and that's what you should be doing as a teacher, Mom. That was a great piece of work you created there, Mom. I haven't really studied that piece too much. I don't even think I have a copy of that book.
No, we don't have a copy of that book that day because I sold out of that book. I only ordered like 250 books and I sold out and I never redid it again. That one is a book I self-published in 2010, right? What year is that on the back? 2010, I think.
I got it on the 14.
Yeah.
11. It says 2011.
2011? Okay.
Yeah, 2011.
Well, I love it. That was a nice surprise. I was not expecting to say that. That is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
You see, I researched for having this Zoom.
Yes.
That's a beautiful way. And if you showed today the last picture, the first picture, the little girl is crying and she thinks her teacher is a monster. Show that picture today. And
there
show her.
We go.
Yes.
And then show the last picture where the teacher's the one crying.
Go ahead, Tete. Give a little bit of backstory here with it.
I'm coming. There she goes.
Yeah.
So what did you want to show there, Mom?
Mande?
What did you want to show there?
The little tear of the teacher when the teacher's crying about the
When she could read what the little girl wrote, no?
Yeah, so at the beginning of the story, the kids are the ones crying and afraid of the teacher, but at the end, the teacher is the one that has a little tear on her face. Es casi la penúltima hoja.
Sí, es cuando está leyendo lo que la niña le dio.
Y la maestra le salió una lagrimita porque dijo...
I love my teacher.
Yes. So my point is, we get these kids every year for... yeah, and the teacher has a little tear, and because she's so motivated because she sees the little girl reading and writing, you know? So at the end of the day, everything we do it for our students. We want to see them be successful. I stay connected with my students still till this day. I get invited to quinceañeras and weddings, and I have a realtor, a student that's a realtor. Shout out to all of my students that I love and admire, and that they're growing to become a bigger light that they could ever be, because they listen, because they were disciplined enough to follow their dreams and their goals. So that, I think that's a great way to kind of stop and think that everything we do it for our kids, for our students, and let's continue to shine and be the best teachers we can be, guys. Mark, do you want to ask us those last questions now?
Well, you know what? I want to say one last comment, and I want you guys to maybe add a comment with it, and we'll close the show with that. I think we've shared enough stories and you know, a lot of lessons here. So I think this is enough value here. But
casi me hizo llorar, Tete, con ese libro.
Es que ella no lo sabía. Ella no sabía. Fue una sorpresa total.
I have no idea. Thank you. So tell us, Mark.
So the final thought here, I just want to say to all teachers, if you're listening, teachers and students all over the world, whoever's listening, I want to say, you know, we need to be lights to each other. We need to push each other, family and friends, to create. You have to inspire each other to want to create music, to create, you know, we have to inspire to create content, to create art, to express ourselves, ask ourselves those questions, and ask our friends and our family and our students these questions. What do you want to do with your life? Who do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to see? Where do you want to travel to? Who do you want to impact? What can
or even just stay, as your mom said, for today, for this week, for this month. And one thing, we have to really think that we are the best and shake off this self-doubt that we are constantly carrying on our shoulders. Just leave it away. Just keep on working and do it your things. And as teachers, find out strategies and just give support and do your best.
Yes, absolutely. Hey, so, you know, I think that's super valuable. We need to believe in ourselves. I think that's a big thing, is what you're saying, is we need to believe in ourselves. Yeah. We need to have faith in the future. We need to, but in order to have that faith and to believe, you have to do, and you have to be surrounded by good people. I think you're a great person, and I think you're doing awesome. And I hope that amazing things come your way. I hope you write your own book. I hope you do the culinary arts. You have so much potential. You can go be a teacher for cooking, for English, for Spanish. You could do it all. You're doing great. And I'm really happy to hear this and to connect with you.
Oh, so. And it's so great to hear it from you, my little Marquitos.
Oh man, yes.
That now you're grown up.
Yes. Hey, my mom disconnected. I don't know what happened, but we'll go ahead and end the show here. Thank you so much, Tete, for joining us. And,
Thank you.
I think it was a great podcast. I can't wait to rewatch this back, and I hope everybody at home has learned a thing or two today. And you know, once again, make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you guys leave a comment with whatever resonated with you. And we hope to see you soon, Tete. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you, Marquitos.
Adios, everybody. Take care. Hey guys, my mom disconnected, but she's back, and we wanted to finish the podcast with a few more final words from her. So go ahead, Mom.
Yes, thank you again, Tete, for the beautiful surprise and the book. I'm going to republish or re-edit that book one more time and do a second edition really soon, because I really feel like a lot of people have asked for that, my first classroom book that can help a lot of little ones. So I will definitely do that. So I think today the universe united us so I can make this happen. So that's a promise. Thank you again for giving me that beautiful surprise. Mark, thank you for always being a great co-host and asking us the right questions and continue to have a great conversation. As teachers today, here are 3 generations that are following from what my aunt Tete Maria Ester Cortes de Contreras ended up putting these little seeds in my brain, passing it on to her daughter, Teteya, who's now a teacher, and now passing it on to my son, Mark Sedgwick, who will also be a teacher. No matter who you are, remember, you are capable of being a teacher. You don't have to have a degree to be a teacher. Sometimes it's just in your heart, or sometimes it's something, it's a need. It's a need. We need teachers in the world. We will never stop having teachers in a planet. We are in need of teachers, and we have a variety of different teachers. So thank you again. If you're a teacher, whether it's with a paper in your hand or just because of your heart, continue to follow that passion, continue to plant those seeds, and be a light in the world. Until next time, we'll see you soon. Be blessed, and always remember, be a light in the world, because it matters to those you love and those who love you back. Take care. Nos vemos.
Bye.
Gracias.
Your spirit out.